Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to decorate this silver vintage cake. Firstly, you're going to put your buttercream like a little bit on your clean cake board. Make sure your cake board is clean, and then after that you're going to put your layer of cake on the cake board. The reason for that small buttercream on the cake board is so that it can hold the cake on the cake board while you decorate. This is to prevent your cake from moving around while you decorate your cake. Before you even begin at all, you should make sure if your cake is slightly burnt on the downside, the under, make sure you've already trimmed your cake at the top and at the bottom. The top is so that you can remove the excesses, so that your cake can be as leveled as you see it in this video. If your cake is higher on one side and you place a second layer on top, it's going to be looking toppled, like it's going to be looking anyhow, and it's going to require more butter icing to cover that large hole it's going to create in between. So the best thing to do is to trim your cake on the top side to remove excesses after baking, and to trim your cake on the downside to remove any burnt parts of your cake. After that, as you can see, you place another layer of butter icing in between your cake. This is to also hold both cakes together. Like you're saying, this is a very small, not a very small cake per se, but this is a small cake, so we don't require a dowel. If we're going to do a bigger cake, you will see me putting a dowel into the cake. Trim your cakes by the side also to make it round and in shape. Like for example, these cakes will, when you place it on themselves, they might not fit perfectly. Like there might be an excess by the side not fitting perfectly. I don't know if you get my point. You want something circular, and if you look from on top, you're going to see some edges are poking out, and you're going to see like excesses. So why you're going to trim it like this is to make the cake smooth and straight by the side. You know, this might not be even be very important when you're using butter icing, because the butter icing is something that you can bend and work with in such a way that it can cover every imperfection in your cake. But when it comes to fondant here, you have to really trim your cake to make it very straight on the side, so that when you put your fondant on your cake, it's going to show sharp edges and sharp sides. Fondant is something that exposes imperfection, so if your cake has crevices and cracks, it's going to show when you're done putting your fondant on your cake. So like I said earlier, this is something that you should consider: trimming your cake by the sides and trimming the excesses on top and probably the burnt part under. Alright, I did not take the video of the part where I already applied butter icing to the top of my cake, but it's like normal, like you did for the one in the middle of the cake, so you're going to do on top. But the difference here is that we're crumb coating. So what's this crumb coating? Crumb coating is basically applying a thin layer of butter icing to the sides of your cake and on top of your cake. Why do you do this? You do this so that you don't have any loose crumbs. So while you're doing the major icing, when you're applying the major buttercream on the cake, you wouldn't see crumbs of cakes in your butter icing. It can be can make your work look very haphazard. You can make your work look very rubbish. If you've decorated cakes before and you notice probably you have a pink buttercream on your cake and you notice all these crumbs, you will be very unimpressed with your work because it will just look very rough. So we crumb coat to control our crumbs. So you're going to put like a thin layer of butter icing on your cake by the sides and on top. Be careful while applying or crumb coating your cake. As you can see, I was pushing it to the side and the cake was like sliding off to the side. Another advantage of actually applying buttercream to your board in between your cake is so that when you are going for delivery, your cake sticks to your board and it doesn't shift while you're making a delivery. But it's advisable you deliver your cakes yourself and not use dispatch riders. This is just by the side information, but I think it's common sense because we know how these dispatches deliver cakes. So that's just by the side. So I'm going to fast forward this part because I think we get what we are doing here by crumb coating. And we're done crumb coating our cake, so on to the next step. Now we're going to apply the major coating of our buttercream. See how I am applying it generously. Before you even make your buttercream, you should already know the amount of buttercream that's going to go around your cake. Yeah, my cake is slightly bent, kind of slant at the top, but it's going to straighten out. As I said, buttercream is quite flexible to work with. If it was fondant, it's going to show every imperfection, because your cake has to be perfect for your finished look of the fondant to be perfect. But for butter icing, you can just apply extra buttercream to the side that is lower, and you are going to see that everything is going to be layered properly. That's why I kind of like buttercream icing. Alright, so you're going to apply to the top and you're going to apply to the side of your cake, making sure that it is properly spread and that everywhere is properly covered. And what you have noticed here, don't mind me, usually I clean off the surface. I try to expel as much crumb from my surface as possible, but you're seeing some crumb on my working space. This is because I was rushing. I was supposed to deliver it hours from this time when I was leaving it. Why I'm noting this is so that when you are decorating your cake, you do not mistakenly pick up crumbs from your cake board. And that's why we crumb coated in the first place, right? So imagine you are picking up crumbs after crumb coating. That was just wasted effort. So that is what you have noted. The major reason why I'm not using so much buttercream for this cake, as you can see, is because it's for an elderly person. That's why you can still see some naked parts of this cake, even though I have applied butter icing. So I did not want to add too much sugar to the cake because it's not for people our age, it's for someone elderly. Also, I am applying this little layer of butter icing because we're going to coat the entire cake with silver, edible silver. That is why. Make sure you cover every part of the cake that is gapped. How I wish I zoomed in. I don't know if you can see clearly. There's a gap up there which I will cover, because that's what I'm currently doing. I'm trying to cover gaps so that the outside of the cake will be as smooth as possible, so that when you sprinkle or you spray your silver, the surface is going to be very, very smooth, as though like it's silver itself. You're going to see the end product and you're going to see why I'm emphasizing on your cake, the shape of your cake, and how it should be for a perfect outcome. Perfection requires practice. So with time, as you decorate your cakes from time to time, you get better. As you can see, the way I'm smoothing the top of the cake, I'm going gently on the surface to remove the side. As you can see, I should have adjusted the camera so you can see the top of the cake, but like I said, I was in a hurry. But if you can see clearly, I am using my cake, that tool to kind of smoothen the top of my cake properly. Some people, when I first started baking, how I don't need like hot water or warm water per se, hot water particularly, to smoothen my cakes. Then I wasn't so perfect. No matter how I tried, I was frustrated. Like my cake would not come out like perfectly smooth by the side. That was because I was an amateur and I was still learning as I was going and doing my business. But I learned about using hot water. Then what you do is you boil hot water and you put in your cake smoothener in the hot water. You know, butter smoothens when you apply heat to it, it melts. So what we're working with is like slight heat on your smoothener on the butter icing. So what you're going to notice is when you do that and you smoothen your cake like you saw I did earlier, you're going to see that your butter icing, the surface is going to be very smooth. You're going to love it. And it also works if you're using all this edged cake smoothener, like you want to put a particular pattern on your cake. If you have that kind of, I've forgotten what they're called now, just don't mind me, yeah, but I think you know what I'm saying. So if you have something like that and you want to put a particular pattern on your cake and you are seeing that your cake, your icing is not really smooth as you want it, you can just boil hot water and put your cake smoothener inside the hot water. You can use a metal, there's the metal too. I think I should attach a picture, but if you know what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. You just put it inside the hot water and then you could use a clean cloth to clean the water off the surface of your cake smoothener, and then while it's still hot or warm, you use it to smoothen your cake, and you are going to see a perfect clean finishing. I promise you, just try it and you see it's like a game changer. So I'm done smoothing my cake. As you can see, I will go ahead and clean my surrounding before I go ahead and do the other things that I need to do. Here I have already written happy birthday mom on the cake before I sprinkle or spray my silver on the cake. Please forgive the skipped part. I was rushing, so I did not know I wasn't recording. What you're going to do, what I did here was to section the cake. That's why you're seeing this straight line on the cake. So I sectioned it so I can follow it when piping this pattern by the side. I used tip, I think tip 102 for petal, tip 102, 103 or 104 depending on how big your cake is. So I just went once in a up and down movement. So once you are pressing your piping bag and you are going in a up and down movement, it's going to make these ruffles as you can see here. So for this nozzle or tip I'm currently using, depending on how big your cake is, it is the what is it called, open star tip. I think they have different sizes. I think this one should be size 19, but they have size 32, size 19, size 17, and I think size 15. But I also think there's something smaller than size 15, but that's what I'm currently using for this side of the cake. And as you can see, I'm covering the lines I made in the first place, so I will not make any denting or indentation to my cake without having the plans of covering it in the first place. So that is the purpose of that line, to guide where I'm going to pipe so that my cake will come out as neat as possible. When doing yours, please make sure to take your time. Like, just take your time, nobody's rushing you. That's the beauty of baking and making your cakes. For it to come out beautiful, it shows, for a beautiful cake, yeah, it shows that the baker was intentional about it. So you don't have to rush, you have to take your time and do it carefully. So I'm saying all this because I'm assuming most people watching this video right now does not have basic or much knowledge on cake decorating. So forgive me if I'm too basic, and forgive me if I'm not too basic at the same time, but I hope you all understand what is being done. Using the open star tip, I think this is a much wider open star tip, or it's the same thing, but using an open star tip, you're going to nozzle around the cake at the bottom, as you can see in the video. So you're going to do this for the downside and you're going to do this for the upside. I'm going to fast forward the video so this video is not excessively long. All right, now we're going for a much smaller tip on top the one that we did before. Like you can see in the video, I think I've already started I had already started before I started recording the video, but as you can see, this is a much smaller tip than the one I used earlier. I think it's a tip I used for this is the horizontal line, not the vertical line, but I think it's a smaller open star tip on top the bigger one on the downside. We're going to start spraying our cake with our edible silver. So what we're going to do, I did not show that part because I did not even intend making this video, but I later changed my mind. So I will make a separate video for nozzle tips, and I'm going to explain how you can use the different nozzle tips for your cake in case you're looking for a particular design of any kind. So I'm going to upload that video, and probably I'm going to upload a video on how to mix your silver to make it in a liquid form that can be sprayed. As you can see, you're seeing the silver dust everywhere. You're going to use edible alcohol. You're going to put a minute quantity in your bowl. So I'm going to put the pictures of each equipment on this video so you can see what I'm talking about, even the picture of this spray in particular. I'm going to put it on this video. You're going to mix a certain amount depending on what you expect is going to work for your cake, because what you don't want is mixing excess and then you're having spare left. You're going to waste your resources. So you're going to mix little by little per time, and then you're going to spray on your cake like you're seeing that I'm doing here. What the alcohol is going to do is that the alcohol is going to evaporate, leaving just the shiny silver on your cake. This can be a very stressful process because my hands are already paining me after a while. This is because I was using my hand to hold the top of the spray. I've used the spray multiple times and it was already misbehaving at this point. So I think you already get most part of this video, so I'm going to fast forward it to the finished product. You're just going to make sure that you spray every corner, every part of the cake, so that you don't see the yellow color or the whatever color you have of your butter icing. You're going to spray every part of it. That's that for this video. So if you have any question, just do well to ask me in the comment section, and I'm going to answer your question as quickly as I can. And I'll use this opportunity to say, please subscribe to my channel. Subscription is totally free. Like, you're not going to pay any dime. Just click the button and you're going to be notified. Also, if you click the notification bell whenever we post a new video, and our videos are always educative and you could easily learn from our videos to make whatever baked goods you like, or to our videos could inspire any decoration of any kind. So just subscribe, like, and share if you would also love to share. So thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.